Welcome to the Well-Oiled Canine Podcast, where your dog's health is our top priority. I'm Dana Brigman, a canine nutritionist and certified holistic pet health coach, specializing in aromatherapy, homeopathy, and herbs. Join me on a mission to help your dog eat better, feel better, and live longer. Now, let's dive into a world of natural pet care and discover the secrets to a happier, healthier pup. Visit me at welloiledcanine.com. Hi, everybody. I'm Dana Brigman from the Canine Coach and Well-Oiled Canine. And today I have with me Ryan, and I'm going to let Ryan introduce himself and his business here in a minute. But Ryan is also a firefighter. And the other day he posted on Facebook about National Pet Fire Safety, and it sparked an interest in me. And even one of the things that he mentioned, I'm like, I don't know that I agree with that. So we're going to talk about all of these things tonight and give you guys a little more perspective of how to keep your pets safe. If you were the one running the evacuation, or if your pets are home alone when the firefighters come in. So Ryan, take it away and say hello.
Sure, thank you. My name is Ryan McGann. I'm owner of Coastal Pooper Scooper here in Horry County, South Carolina. And as you mentioned, I'm also a firefighter EMT in the local area as well. We started Coastal Pooper Scooper back in May of 2021 when we noticed an overwhelming need for proper pet waste mitigation in the residential communities, as well as multifamily communities, city parks, the dog parks, you name it. We noticed a need, and it didn't exist here that we could find. So we filled that need, and things have been great. My wife and I run the business together full time. It's been an adventure. We're definitely enjoying it. We're meeting all sorts of people in the pet industry, yourself included. We've enjoyed it.
Yeah, well, that's awesome. I know it's such an important service that many people take for granted. And,
Right.
With a lot of the tourism around here in the dog parks, it's such an important service to offer to keep that under control for everybody and healthy for everybody. So let's start with talking about fire safety and pets. And I'll let you maybe start with some of the things that you shared in the post about, was it National Fire Safety Day for Pets or something to that effect?
Yeah, National Pet Fire Safety Day. Yep. Yeah, July 15th, I think it was.
Well, we're a little late, but you're like me. You talk to pet parents every day and they're getting new puppies or they've adopted a new dog. And so this is not just a day we need to take into consideration. It's things we need to just have as part of our plans to keep everybody safe should the unthinkable start to happen.
Right.
So one of the things that you shared was about stove tops and power cords. And I think of that from dogs who were counter surfing, trying to see what's up on the counters. And relative to the training that I do, I've even seen dogs who will stand on top of the counters, So that, and then puppies who are naturally curious about chewing power cords.
Sure. Yep.
So what can we do to reduce that risk?
So knowing that it's an issue is really the first step. It's something that's so commonly overlooked. Nobody thinks to consider that. But if you have propane or natural gas stove in your house, there's almost guaranteed at least once you've bumped into that, and
Absolutely.
and there's no flame, just gas. Well, that's a problem in and of itself. But that's what happens. Dogs and cats, they can bump that as well if they're counter surfing. They want to see what's up there, try to grab a bite, while you're not looking.
Yeah.
They can bump those knobs, which give you a gas leak, which is dangerous in other ways, or could start a fire. So a simple way around that is they make a lock that slides over the knobs on your stove. Just a simple plastic lock. You can buy at Amazon, probably Walmart. Um, and that prevents it from getting pushed in. It can't push in, so it can't turn to ignite the burner. Um, and then with your cords, really your best option there is to just try to hide them. Run your cords, under your baseboard or under rugs, runners, carpets, under your couch. Yeah, just it depends on how your house is set up, really. But the best thing to do is to keep them out of sight and out of mind for the dogs, so that they're not or the cats, so they're not chewing on it. That's going to create an electrical hazard. You could spark and have a fire that way as well.
Yeah. I would add to that from the trainer point of view, if you know your dog is a counter surfer, and that has not yet been resolved, then there needs to be some barrier of protection, whether
Yes,
it's a crate or a baby gate that keeps them out of the kitchen and away from outlets, if they're
absolutely.
kind of thing. Because puppies go through this big chewing phase and they don't know the difference between their little tug toy and the cord hanging out of the outlet, you know.
Right. Yep. Yeah. It's all everything's a toy for them. So
Yeah, so we have a bit of management protocol that we need to take into effect given the individual behavior of the dog.
right.
Well, I'm fascinated by the little locks. I'm gonna have to go look those up. That was one of my questions, was what products can you recommend to us? But I'm gonna go definitely look those up.
Yeah, there's several variations, but it's a very, very simple piece, just slides right over and child proof, dog proof, maybe
Well, it
adult
might be
proof.
Dana proof, right? I've, like you said, I've done it, and I have a gas stove.
Right.
There's a number of times I've come in and I'm like, why do I smell that?
Exactly. Yep.
And my dogs aren't big enough to reach. So
Right.
yeah, I gotcha. So one of the things that I disagreed with you was keep your collar on the dog at all times.
Right.
And for me, if I do have a dog that's crated, or I have those air vents that are in the floorboards or the floors, I don't want anything dangly that they could get tangled up in.
Yeah. And that was a great point that you brought up as well, because that can happen very easily.
Yeah. And so, and then if I got a dog trying to escape a crate because he's afraid now because there's people in the house and there's drama happening, in a chaos, that could be a choking hazard. So what I love the idea of keeping multiple leashes in multiple places.
Right.
Front door, back door, side door, in the car, next to the crate,
Yep.
on the doorknob. There are ways that we can coordinate this. I know that would be helpful to the pet parent who knows where they are, but is that helpful to you guys when you come into a fire and we're not home, or you're coming in and we've run outside and the dog's still in the house?
So if it's up to us as the firefighters to locate and rescue the dogs, we're really not looking for leashes or leads or pet carriers.
Yeah.
We're gonna scoop them up, hope we don't get bit or scratched, and kind of bear hug and get them out that way, to the owners. It's just there's too much going on. We in a house fire, we have standard operating procedures. Every firefighter has a task that they're doing, and finding a leash or a lead is not on that list. It's very fast paced. It's very, very in depth. A lot of moving parts. So we get in, we search,
Are those little stickers on the windows that says I have 2 dogs and a cat in the house, do they help? Are they even?
Yeah. A lot of agencies are aware of those. Yeah, I've seen them here in the county. I do keep an eye out for them. I'm a pet parent. I own a pet, I own a pet company, so that's something that I notice. But so if you do have that pet placard, you want it to be big enough that the firefighters are going to notice it, for one. Typically on those, you can write how many animals are in the house. And you could even write where they are, if they don't have free reign of the home, which is something that I would suggest as well. Personal preference, my dogs do have free reign of everything but the office here.
Mhm.
But if you can find them to certain areas when you're out of the home, and that can be relayed to fire and rescue, or if it's on that pet placard posted on the front door that we're walking through, then we know, okay, forget the bedroom, the dog is in,
Laundry room or
the
the,
laundry room, yeah, and we can go right to that. Oh, there's the dog, and right back out, rather than searching high and low. Um, and it's important to know where your dog's hiding places are as well. Um, is it the laundry room? Is it the bathrooms? Do you have a spot under the stairs? Um, because your dogs, when they're frightened, they're gonna run to those areas.
exactly. Exactly. So I know a lot of times we talk about evacuation plans for the people and the kids, right? I think this is sometimes even taught in
Mhm.
schools where you guys go show up for firefighter day and are educating on all of those things. But what would you suggest an evacuation plan needs to contain for the pet parent?
Sure. So, basic evacuation plan. Your spouse, your kids, you all want to have a plan. You want to have a meeting place outside of the home. For a lot of the people here, it's really just the end of the driveway by your car, unless you're out in the country, and then, pick the oak tree or the swimming pool, or,
Right.
something that your kids are going to go to. But part of that evacuation plan when you have pets is somebody needs to be responsible for getting those pets in the event of a house fire. It's hectic. You don't have a lot of time typically to get out. You're worried about your kids. You're worried about your spouse. Um, so somebody needs to automatically think, "Oh, I got to grab the dog." Um, but with that, like having a go bag, kind of sort of to speak, is a good idea. And in that bag, you'll want to have maybe a lead or a leash, food, water, that sort of thing that you can take out. And when you exit the home, it's a great idea to put the dog or cat or whatever it is, snake, iguana, whatever, um, put it in the car, so move the car away from the home, put your pet in the car, because it's going to be very hectic out there. They're going to be frightened even outside of the home with everything going on, from the fire and rescue standpoint. So putting them somewhere safe, the car, the neighbor's house, something like that is definitely something that you need to have planned as well, to keep them safe and to keep them from running away.
Exactly. So if I can just add a
Mhm.
trainer behavior point of view, I have a number of clients who have dogs that hate each other, right? They don't get along.
Right.
So putting two dogs in the same car is going to
Yeah.
be a problem. And so when
Yeah.
I ran my board and train center, we had as many as 15 dogs there on any given day, and most of them were behavioral issues, right? And so getting them even out into the fenced in area was not enough because they may have hated each other, right? They may not have
Right.
been compatible. Sorry, sorry for the drama that's dogs that are incompatible in this sort of crate and rotate, or for our people who run boarding facilities or kennels, that sort of thing. What we did was we had big fenced in areas that we went to every other pole and put out one of those cables that had a tether on it, right? So it was
Yeah.
always attached to the pole.
Right.
So if I came out with a dog, I went to pole one. If I came out with a second dog, I went to pole two. And
Right.
we knew where those were. And so I would encourage people to think about something along those lines as well. If you've got to get them out and you can't get them together, have something that is pre existing, that you know where it is, that you're just going to go clip them to.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Any plan that keeps them safe and secure, and
Well,
is
I think that's sort of the thing, is having a plan, whatever it is. If you come out with no plan, it's probably not going to go nearly as well as if you have some strategy.
right. Yeah. Any plan is a good plan. It's, like we said, it's something that nobody considers. Uh,
Right.
so, an important topic to discuss.
Yeah, so we already talked about those little placards on the door and that sort of thing. What else would you suggest we as pet parents or even pet pros who have multiple dogs that they are even a pet sitter, right? So pet sitter doesn't live in that home. What are some thoughts that you may have on those topics?
Yeah, so pet sitter's a great one too. You got rover.com and so many other pet sitters that stay in the homes and whatnot. So you want to have you want that plan to be available for them as well. A lot of times you'll leave instructions with a pet sitter, have the fire safety plan in with those instructions as well. Leashes or leads are here. When you exit the home, go here, call this phone number, whatever. If they have to go to a kennel, to board overnight because parents are out of town or whatever, just having that, written plan available for them is a great idea.
Mm-hmm.
But even just going all the way back to just bare basics, make sure you have working smoke detectors in your home. That's a huge one that gets overlooked, especially if you have vaulted ceilings, or, people can go 10 or 15 years with, forgetting that they have smoke detectors up there, and you
Mine,
don't
mine argue with me too much to allow that to happen.
know.
And I can't reach them. I personally would never have a ladder tall enough to reach them, so I have to call a handyman to come do it.
Right. Yeah, but you want to make sure you have those. Nowadays in the newer homes, they all communicate with each other. So if there's a fire in the spare bedroom and you're in the laundry room, or the garage, you're gonna know because that smoke detector right outside that door is gonna go off as well.
Mhm.
Um, and that's important, especially today with our newer homes. The studies are kind of conflicting, but you have anywhere from 2 minutes to 5 minutes to get out of a home. That's just because of how the construction is built. The furniture is synthetic and everything just burns quicker, gets hotter, creates a very hazardous environment so much faster than it did, 20, 30 years ago. Um, so having all these things in place, just because of that one aspect, less than 5 minutes to get out of the home, you really need to have these plans in place. Um, make sure that the house is dog proof. So
Yeah. I think sometimes we give dogs far too much freedom, for lack of a better word,
right.
and expect them to be able to hold that responsibility, and they're not, you know.
I haven't met a dog that can call 911 yet. So
Exactly. Yeah. And so, especially again, if that dog is a puppy and learning or newly adopted and has never been in a home before, there's so much that we have to dog proof and teach and manage to keep them safe.
yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah. So is there more that you would share with us? Anything else on your mind?
Um, just kind of going back to the fire safety aspect of it, especially whether you're out of the home or whether it's nighttime and you're asleep, close your doors. That's a very important thing. You can disrupt the flow, the path of fire by doing that. If you close your bedroom doors, um, and you have a fire in one of the bedrooms, it's going to be very difficult for that fire to exit that bedroom. Your smoke detectors are going to go off. You're going to have plenty of time to get out of the home. But when doors are open, it creates a flow path of oxygen, which is one of the three components that you need for fire. Um, and there's dozens of studies. I've witnessed it myself, obviously, as a firefighter, of when doors are open, there's a lot more fire damage in a home than when doors are closed. So, going back to confining your pets to maybe just the living areas, keeping the bedroom doors closed, the office closed, the loft, um, that way they're just kitchen, living room, hallway. It's gonna help in the event that there is a fire. It's gonna keep the fire smaller, longer, which gives fire and
Mhm.
rescue more of a chance to get in and rescue any pets or people.
Yeah.
Uh,
So I think about how my house is set up and it worries me a lot because I come down, so I have a big open area, but then I walk through this little hallway and then there's a long hallway with 3 bedrooms.
Mhm.
And my bedroom is at the very end. So you've passed 2 other bedrooms and a bath. And if the fire happens to be in that middle bedroom or the middle bath, I got nowhere to go. And so I have in my head thinking I will just sit the dog outside the window, right?
Yep.
I'm just going to
Yep.
drop him outside the window in the fenced in backyard and I'm going out with them and
Yep.
wait for y'all
There
to
you go.
show up, so.
Yep. Yeah, always you always have to consider that you might have to use your window. Like you said, depend on how these houses can be laid out. You never know where it could start in the garage, the bathroom.
Yep.
You
I know
just
that if a fire happens in that center section of that hallway, that bedroom in that bathroom area, and I'm in my bedroom, I have nowhere to go.
Yep.
So I'll be coming out with a fire extinguisher.
There you go. And that's always a good thing too, is to have a fire extinguisher, in the kitchen, in the garage, and in your bedroom is great as well. Because that can buy you a lot of time, you and your dogs.
Yeah.
So,
Okay. Awesome.
uh,
What else?
that's kind of the gist. What there's just along with that 2 to 5 minute statistic, the National Fire Protection Association actually estimates somewhere between 700 and 1,000 house fires are directly caused by pets in the home.
So tell me that number again, please.
So it varies, but it's somewhere between 700 and 1,000 fires every year are caused by pets in the home. So that's, I mean, that's way.
Through the stove burners, through the
Uh,
candle, through
yeah,
the
through any of those. Yeah, it's not specific as to which each cause was. But candles is another great one. People like to burn candles all the time. Heck, I mean, cats, they'll knock over anything.
Mhm.
So if you have a glass candle up on the mantle, good chance your cat might go for that, or even a puppy. So you want to make sure candles are always out of reach. That's a very easy way to start a fire in a home as well.
Right.
Uh,
Awesome. My
yeah.
my goal for this was that we really talk through these tips and some things that maybe I had not thought of that you've shared or that I could share from a different point of view, like running a crate and rotate set up with 2 dogs in the house that hate each other, because not everybody thinks about that until
Right.
you're crisis mode. And then you're like, I don't know what I'm going to do here.
Right.
So again, I think any plan, any strategy is better than no strategy.
Yeah.
So go ahead.
The last thing I had actually, I'm sorry.
No, you're fine.
If for some reason you can't find your dog, in the event of a fire, just get out of the home. Don't re-enter the home. It's too dangerous to be re-entering a home. Smoke inhalation is a very serious issue that it can render you unconscious in a matter of seconds to minutes.
Right.
So get out of the home, use an open door or an open window, and call for your pet that way. And that leads to training. You want to make sure your dog understands the basics. Come or whatever your command is. To bring the dog to you. So.
And that's so important. I have a lot of clients with obedience where you tell the dog to come and he's like, not right now, right? Right. So imagine what that looks like when they're freaked out, going, I don't understand what all this noise and
Right.
smell and emotion and mama's under drama. I don't get it. So I'm freaked out. I want my dog to move to me when I say come under any circumstance.
Right.
And that is a big deal that I don't think not enough people have taken action on. We think it's cute when they proverbial flip us off when we say come, or it's cute when the cheese wrapper comes out and they show up at the refrigerator. So we know they can learn recall.
Right.
We just don't proof it under these stressful, and I hope nobody ever has to test it under fire.
Right.
I want you to test it under something unexpected, right? I want you to test it in a whole bunch of environments so that they show up when anybody calls them to come.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So, all right. Well, this was awesome. Thank you so much. So recap your business, Coastal Pooper Scooper. What's your website?
So you can find us at coastalpooperscooper.com.
Okay.
We service coastal Horry County, Conway and Loris to the beach, and Little River all the way down to Pawleys Island, actually. So we have a pretty large area.
You're on the road a lot.
Residential, commercial, HOAs, dog parks, pet waste stations is a big thing that we do as well. We'll install and maintain those for HOAs and condos and neighborhoods.
Right. Nice. Awesome. Thank you for joining us on the Well-Oiled Canine Podcast. I'm Dana Brigman, your canine nutritionist and certified holistic pet health coach. I hope you found today's episode valuable and inspiring for your journey towards better health for your dog. Don't forget to visit me at theWellOiledCanine.com and check out our members forum for lots of discussions, interactions, education that you won't find anywhere else. That's at members.welloiledcanine.com. So join the community. If you've enjoyed this episode, please subscribe, rate, and leave a review. Your feedback helps me reach more pet parents just like you. So until next time, keep your pup well-oiled, well-fed, and well-loved.